All right, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. What will probably be my longest awaited tier list for Tier List Tuesday. It's the Mario Superstar Baseball tier list. As you may know, I'm a member of the Dinger City Club, which is a link in the description. It's another YouTube channel I'm part of. It's got significantly more subs and views than this one. And the main thing we do over there is play competitive Mario Superstar Baseball. Our 7th season, main season, just came to an end and the playoffs started this week. As a result, people are submitting their tier lists to create the ultimate season 7 tier list, of which a video will be posted on that channel. But I figured for my own personal tier list that I have to submit for that process, I might as well make it a tier list Tuesday. So here it is. We're not doing the wonderful to unbearable today, just because there's a very specific rule set for how this needs to be done for the club. Basically, it's going to be 7 characters in the high meta, 7 characters in the low meta, and then 6 characters in each tier below that, because there's exactly 32 characters, and that's how it's going to work out. So we treat these top 2 as the characters, the 14 characters that must see every game. Basically, like, if any of these 14 characters are on the board when you get to your 9th pick, you can't let them go by. They need to be in the game. Then the borderline meta is going to be for those 6 characters you might try and fill out your team with, like a comfort pitcher, a backup shortstop, something like that. Then your non-meta are like your characters who like are kind of okay sometimes, but at the end of the day, they're rarely going to see a team. And then the Mario tier is just the bottom 6 characters, the ones that are just absolute trash. But at the end of the day, it's still just a normal tier list, so we're going to dive right into it. I'm going to place people where I think they should hopefully end up, and then we're going to do a little reshuffling come the end. First character, of course, is Peach. It's no secret that I have a soft spot for Peach if you watch the Mario Superstar Baseball videos in Dinger City. I like Peach more than most people. I think she's the best pitcher in the game. Not objectively, for me, subjectively. I know objectively it's probably Boo. But I like her pitching style. Her super's a guaranteed pop fly, which means you can get a runner in from third. She does pretty good shortstop infield stuff. She's got super catch. She's got quick throw. She's got a good chem tree. I hope that I can justify putting her in the borderline meta. So that's where I'm going to start her. I have a sneaking suspicion she's going to end up at the top of the non-meta. But this is where I really want to see her. So that's where I'm going to put her. Dry Bones. Dry Bones is the up-and-coming greatest thing. I love Dry Bones. He got a lot of bad rap last season, I think. He was considered the worst of the 4 star hitters, which are him, Noki, Madge, and Pear Goomba. But I think he's way better. I actually think he's the best non-Madge star hitter. Madge gets I think he's better at star hitting than Madge, but Madge just has the great, defensive super catch thing. No, it's not super catch, magical catch. And as a result, it's hard to argue he's not the best star hitter. So I think for now, I want to put Dry Bones in the low meta. I think he deserves to be in every game. Again, might get shifted. Noki is basically the same situation, but worse than Dry Bones. So if anyone's getting shifted, it's going to be her. She's got a great hit. Both of these characters can hit without stars. I think Dry Bones does it a little better. Noki hits a lot of hits to that outside line that get her great hits, singles, doubles, bring in runs, but they also go foul sometimes, and they also get caught a lot of the time by a KB or Magikoopa third baseman. Waluigi has people have been really overrating this guy lately. He's a pitcher. He can't really pitch though. People have been thinking his charge hit and his slap hit have been doing work. Nick's been trying to prove it. Spencer's been trying to prove it all of his life. But I think at the end of the day, the best he's gonna get is maybe in the non-meta 6. So that's where I'm gonna put him for now. Koopa Troopa, for the longest time, has been considered the worst character in the game. I think that changed for some people last season. I think it's now just a fact this season he's not the worst character in the game, but I think on his best day he's still in the bottom 6. So I'm gonna put him in the Mario tier. In case you're wondering why is this called the Mario tier, it's not because Mario's bad. There was an old online tier list made for this game when the game first came out in 2005 that claimed Mario was so bad he deserves to be his own tier called the Mario tier below the bad tier, and it's a running joke in the club, so we think it's really funny that our bottom tier is called the Mario tier. Petey Piranha is, in my opinion, the best of the three conventional home run hitters, being Petey, KB, and Bro. There's Bro. Those are, some people value those as top 7. Some people value them as top 10. Some people value them in the top 5. I think Petey's the best of them, but I think even the best home run hitter doesn't really compete with, you have the 4 best captains in the game, which you're going to see are going to be up here. Those are like an objective top 4 characters. And then characters that have really reliable singles bats coupled with good fielding, like some really good position in the field, I think are better than home run hitters who don't really have positions in the field but can hit home runs. So I think for now I'm actually going to put Petey in the low meta, but if there's space for him in the high meta, he'd be the home run hitter I move up. Boo is the objective best pitcher in the game. On top of that, he's got an incredible singles bat. He checks the boxes I just said for a character that I would probably value a little higher than some home run hitters. I don't pitch with Boo, so personally, he's lower for me, because for me, he doesn't really have a space in the field, but I'm trying to be like a devil's advocate here. I don't want to slap him into the low meta just because I don't use him. I can acknowledge he's a great character, and I do use him sometimes when, like, Peach and Daisy are my go-to pitchers, and I've been using, like, Shy Guy and changing it up with some weird stuff. But regardless, I think it's hard to argue that Boo is not in the high meta, so that's where we're going to put him for now. Pear Goomba is one of the worst characters in the game. All he has is super jump, and he's too short for it to ever make a difference. He's got no bat, he's got no arm, he's got no good chem. Everything about this guy is garbage. He's in the Mario tier for sure. And also in the Mario tier for sure is Baby Luigi. Baby Luigi might be the worst character in the game. For me, it's probably one of these two. When we get to the shuffling around, we'll talk about it. But Baby Luigi he's really fast, but he's got no real good chem partners outside of Yoshi, who's going to always be in the outfield also, so there's no good line there. He bobbles like an MF, and on top of that, he doesn't get slap hits like his brother. He's a little bit better at pitching, but like, you're never going to have Baby Luigi on the mound. So, Mario tier for sure. Baby Mario is interesting. We've been seeing that his slap hit can work. It's not hard to get on base with Baby Mario, which is shocking. So he's definitely better than some of these guys. But my brain has to think, are there 3 other characters I think are worse than Baby Mario? That's the only way he gets in the non-meta, is if there are 3 worse than him. Looking down here, there might be, but I don't think there is. So I'm gonna put him in the Mario tier as well. KB is what people call the most versatile home run hitter, because his singles bat and his star hit are also kind of okay. But at the end of the day, they are not good enough for me to try for. I think I'm always going to just try and charge and rip one over the fence with him. His star hit's gone over the fence like one time in the club's history, and everyone's like, oh my god, you can hit star hits over the fence. It happened once. It's not often. I can argue for the slap hit sometimes, but the star hit isn't really there for me. As a result, he's worse than Petey to me. So he's gonna go in the low meta with him, but he'll be lower. Toad is not good, really at all, unless your name is Gil. Gil knows how to hit home runs with this guy somehow, but other than that, he's kind of just a dead spot on the team. I appreciate the Peach chemistry, but I think he gets a little overhyped because a lot of us watch Gil hit well with him, but none of us do and none of us can, and a lot of people suffer when they pick him sometimes, so I think I gotta put Toad in the Mario tier as well. Goomba is not good. He's got Ball Dash, which is an ability I love. Monty also has it. We'll talk about him in a second. But Goomba has the added benefit of being able to pitch. I personally don't think his pitching is that good, but some people love it because of the weird release point. But you're not pitching with him. He doesn't really have a spot in the field. On top of that, his bat's not that good. So I think I gotta put him in the non-meta. Mario's the most all-around character in this game, and stars on. He's the best character in this game. The man can do everything. He can hit home runs. He can play most positions on the field. He can pitch a little. He's got an adequate star hit. He can, my personal favorite thing about him, though, is that he's got wall jump. Wall jump's one of the most important abilities in the game, in my opinion. It's the only thing that can stop certain home runs, and as a result, characters with wall jump should be valued a little higher in some cases. Mario doesn't bobble as much as other wall jumpers like the babies and Toadette, who have more bobble opportunities. He's not as fast as them, but he's not slow enough that it's detrimental. On top of that, he's got, I believe, sliding catch. Great all-arounder. I think he certainly deserves to be in every game of baseball, and as a result, that means I must put him in the low meta. Shy Guy was always like a meme pick back in the day. He's green in this tier list because our club thinks that's a funny joke. We like the green Shy Guy. But I've been pitching with green Shy Guy, and it kind of confuses people. Like, people that got that baseball brain have difficulty adapting the green Shy Guy. And so he's out of position as pitcher sometimes. He's also got a position as a first baseman if you've got Birdo on your shortstop, and she's a very coveted shortstop. So that chem is good. He's also pretty quick. If you switch to blue Shy Guy, you can play him in the outfield. And I gotta tell you, I've been using him a lot lately, and his singles bat, it lands a lot. Charge hits could be line drives, slap hits could land. I'm putting Shy Guy in what I suspect will be the top of the non-meta, but I wouldn't be absolutely blown away if I even bump him up the borderline. Monty Mole. I love the silly little critter. He's got an okay bat. He doesn't really have any positions though. You can play him at first. You can play basically anyone at first. And the ball dash at first prevents steals, which is really good. Same applies to catcher maybe. But at the end of the day, his bat's just not consistent enough to justify wasting a spot on your team for him, really. I do it sometimes when I'm desperate for a catcher and there's no one really left. I think he's a little bit better than some of the people. He'll probably be at the top of the Mario tier for me, personally. I know a lot of people don't like him. I can hit with him, and I think ball dash is an ability that if you put it in the right spot could be really good. It's not often, but for now I'm going to put him in the Mario tier. Possible upward momentum into non-meta. Magikoopa is incredible. Like I said, he's probably the best traditional star hitter in the game. His star hits land pretty often. They do double play sometimes. They don't have quite the outward foul line thing you want, like you do with Dry Bones and Noki, but you have the added benefit of freaking magical catch is so insane. He's the best third baseman, best first baseman. On top of that, he could be a relief pitcher. I'm gonna start him in the high meta. We'll think about doing some switching around when the time comes. But I think Magikoopa was a great shout for the bottom of the high meta. Toadette. I hate Toadette. I've said it a million times. I had a whole rant how I was going to put Toadette at 32 on this tier list. I've calmed down since then. She bobbles all the time. She can't hit. But at the end of the day, she is still very fast. She has wall jump. She has diving catch. She's got a pretty big hitbox. She's not the worst character in the game. She is maybe, to me, she'll be either top of the Mario tier or bottom of the non-meta tier. We've already got 6 down here. So for now, I'm going to put her in the non-meta tier. But we'll talk about for every single area, this is a tier list that the numbers matter. We'll discuss the bottom people in some tiers and the top in others for movement. So for now, non-meta. I mean, Bowser is most people, if not all people's, best character in the game choice. Hits home runs easier than anybody. Gets walked a lot for free bases. Pretty okay chem tree. Not a good star hit, but you don't need it. The downfall is with our current drafting method, the Nolan draft. If you take Bowser, he must be your captain. So having him on your team will lessen every other captain character on your team because their star now automatically must cost 2. but it's a pretty fair trade-off. So Bowser undoubtedly a high meta character, as is Yoshi. Yoshi is the defensive version of Bowser. Bowser's probably undoubtedly the best offensive, and Yoshi's undoubtedly the best defensive. Basically the best pick for every outfield and most infield positions. The egg ball is almost always a single, like 75% of the time when we tested it on a live stream. Not the best chem tree outside of Birdo, but he's got all those things going for him, plus there's a genuinely actual reliable single slap hit. He's a great character, arguably the best in the game. Definite, no question, high meta character. PM. Normally blue, but for the sake of the club, we made him pink, as like with Noki, we made him green, and Shy Guy, we made them green. PM is a good backup shortstop or second baseman. If you can't get your hands on your Yoshi, Birdo, DK, which are the coveted three, you usually want at least one of those three, because of the tongue, the suck from Birdo, and DK's insane hitbox / dive range / laser. PM comes in as one of those reliefs. He's got a good slide range. He's got laser, which makes cutoffs to home really good. Only downfall is his bat's really hard to work with. He can't play really any other position. And his only chem is Noki, so you only have Noki to help make that better. With Noki being one of the worst star hitters now, we were really up on her last season because it was a new discovery that she can be a star hitter, but like we've come to terms with, I think, the fact that she is the worst of the 4 star hitters. So PM's only really worth it in my eyes if you also have Noki. That way you can make that bat a little more feasible. He's better lefty than he is righty, but still, I think no matter what, you're going to see PM in the borderline meta. Where exactly, I'm not sure. But that's where his home's gonna be for now. Bro is absolutely incredible. He is a home run machine, but he does not do anything else. Hammer Bro, not Hammer Bro. Boomerang Bro can have star hits, but like, why wouldn't you just charge? There's so little situations that I could think of, oh, you know what? A star hit here would be better for me than trying to absolutely rip a fat ding dong over the fence. And as a result, he's gonna go right with the other power hitters in the low meta. I think he's the second best. I think he's after PD, but before KB. I'm noticing that we've got lots of characters that's going to be put places, and we got dwindling spaces, so there's definitely going to be some movement. But yeah, absolutely incredible, and that's where he goes. This is going to be the first break of for the formation here. Oh wait, no, it doesn't need to be. We got 7 spots. I forgot. This is 7. Pear Goomba, another really good star hitter. He has a similar star hit to Maj. It goes a little bit more inside than Dry Bones and Noki's do, so it's a little easier to catch, but he's also got much more of a reliable slap hit than Noki. On top of that, he's got super jump, making him a viable outfielder or maybe like a third first base. His arm is poopy and his dive is trash. Like actually maybe the worst dive in the game. So it's scary putting him in the outfield. It's definitely a detriment to the character, but nonetheless, he is a character that I believe deserves to be in almost every game, if not every game, so that puts him in the low meta. Our 7 slots for the low meta are now full, so if we feel another character deserves to go there, we're more than welcome to put them there, but we're gonna have to do some adjusting. Dixie and Diddy Kong. I think, obviously, Diddy Kong is better because they're basically the same character, except Diddy Kong has 2 abilities and a star hit. Dixie Kong might be like the slightly better pitcher, but it's not enough to make Diddy not want to be the character you take with the monkey chem, with the star hit, with the clamber, and the glue hands. No question Diddy's better than Dixie, but at the end of the day, they are both borderline meta picks, I believe, so that's where they're going to go. Toadsworth, I think statistically is the best hitter in the game. As far as like actually hitting the ball, like obviously Bowser with the freaking like homers and the walks is probably different. But Toadsworth is almost always gets on base as long as you know where that bat sweet spot is. It almost always lands in play, getting you a single, and he's got an incredible star hit that just always paints the line, and the only thing that really can negate that star hit is a Maj on third, which is, again, where Maj usually is, so you gotta watch out for it. But absolutely incredible hitting, both star and regular. On top of that, he's a great relief pitcher. He's got chemistry with your Peach and your Daisy. I like Toadsworth a lot. I've been saying that I think I'm going to put him in the top 5 this season. That might not be exactly where he lands, but I do think every game positively will have him in it, and I think he's a coveted draft pick that people try to get in their first few turns. So I'm going to put Toadsworth in the high meta for now. Luigi. Luigi is one of my favorite 9th picks. Oh no, I let my opponent get Mario, I still need a wall jumper. That's where Luigi comes in. He's got a slightly less reliable bat, but only slightly less. He's got super jump, which we don't know for sure if it makes his wall jump better yet, but if it does, that's a major improvement. Because we don't know yes or no, I can't say he's amazing. If we ever hard find out that super jump makes his wall jump better, I am going to claim that he is better than Mario because I'm good at getting on base with both of them. But right now, the major disadvantage he has going for him is that his star hit is nowhere near as good as Mario's. I don't think Mario's is that great either, but Luigi's is actually trash. His bat's just slightly less reliable, and super jump is fun. I like having him on first while Mario's in right field for like that chem throw, but whereas Mario is slightly more reliable and with a better star hit, that's the difference between a low meta character and a borderline meta character. So I'm gonna put Luigi in the borderline meta. Final 5 characters. BJ's been trending up for me. Ever since Cokes joined the club, I've been seeing that BJ has use. He got like blood pacted into whenever he plays with his friends, he has to use BJ as the captain, which is absurd, but as a result, he found out the way the guy works. I've hit some BJ homers. I will say that Bowser Bro BJ starting lineup is terrifying because if BJ gets on, Bowser's got chem. They're probably going to walk Bowser. Now all of a sudden you have Bro with double chem, almost guaranteed to hit it over the fence unless you walk him too. Now you got bases loaded for free. It's a scary thing that only BJ brings into existence. And on top of that, he's got wall jump. So undoubtedly, I think the clear spot for BJ is a high non-meta because he is a 9th pick sometimes. So it's like he's like borderline meta. He can justifiably be your last few picks if you're on a Bowser team. So high non-meta, maybe even low borderline meta. We'll talk about it. Daisy's incredible. I wish I could justify putting Daisy in the meta, like the guaranteed meta, because I think she deserves to be in it. She's in almost all of my games as I pitch with her. On top of that, she plays a mean third base. She's got a sick dive that makes the outfield great. She's a little skinny though. The hitbox is a little small. Balls roll past her sometimes in the middle outfield and the outfield. But quick throw on the infield is really good. Her pitching is great. Her star hit, people say it's really bad, but at the end of the day, it's still a guaranteed sac fly, which means that you definitely can get a run in from third. But if they miss, which people do, it is not a guaranteed catch no matter what people say. A lot of people miss that ball, and when it lands, she gets a triple. I think she is probably the best of the borderline meta, in my opinion. I might even bump her in the low meta. We'll see what happens. Regardless, I think she will be our final pick for the borderline meta. Oh, we're gonna have to do some more adjusting here. I'm seeing that this is 6 already, and definitely okay, well, no problem. Birdo's got the best star hit in the game, probably. Like, I mean, we did the egg off. We determined that Yoshi's egg is more reliable than Birdo's. But Birdo is the kind of character that can, with one good star hit, if it lands, change an entire game in favor of anyone. You could be playing someone as good as Dennis, and if you've got bases loaded and land a disgusting star, you can score 3 runs, and now all of a sudden you're ahead. Birdo is the only character that can do that with their star. No other star can make that big of a swing happen. Yes, Daisy and Wario, when their star hits land, can also be triples. But Birdo's just lands, like Birdo's, there's no skill involved. You can kind of be like, okay, I'm gonna move Yoshi into the outfield, try and tongue a Daisy ball, try and tongue a garlic ball. Birdo's just like, it lands, or it doesn't. So it's a high cost, high sum here. But with that egg ball being as good as it is, hard to argue she's not high meta. And on top of that, great fielder. She's the best shortstop / second base outside of Yoshi. But Yoshi benefits from being at left fielder because no one plays left field like Yoshi. Birdo's got a little bit of competition from Yoshi and DK for the infield, but she becomes my top pick for the infield because I want Yoshi in the outfield. So Birdo's going to be high meta, as is Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong is an all-arounder. He can hit home runs. He's got slap hits. His star hit's great. He can't pitch. He can kind of play the outfield because of laser and his big hitbox. He plays a great infield though, shortstop or second base with laser to home. Monkey Chem ain't that great, but he's also got Chem with Petey, so that's pretty good. He's what Mario should have been. He can do everything outside of pitching. Mario can do everything, including pitching, but I think if Mario was able to hit home runs a little more like DK was, Mario would be the best character in the game. But DK does it all. It's hard to argue with. The man's obviously a high meta pick. The final pick is Wario. Wario is awesome. Wario can hit dingers. Wario and PM are the same character at the end of it, really. We've got here. I will not get into the argument, but I will describe the argument for these two characters because they're gonna end up being really next, like right next to each other on the tier list, if not maybe one character removed. I'll put him in there for now. Wario has a bat that when you switch it to lefty, it becomes better, just like PM. They're both power hitters that don't really hit home runs that often, just like PM. They both play middle infield because they have a high diving range, just like PM. The difference is being PM's got laser, Wario has diving catch. So Wario's diving range and height are better, so he catches more balls naturally than PM does, but PM works as a better cutoff to laser throw to home. So I personally feel that those two features make them even on defense for the most part. I would argue Wario's a little better than catching the ball is more important than saving a run to home because it just happens more often. So let's say Wario's 0.1% better on defensive. Offensively, I think they're very similar. They hit balls right into the gap with some line drives. Sometimes they also both ground out sometimes. PM probably gets on base normally a little more, but at the end of the day, Wario also has that star hit. That star hit makes him a better character because if you captain him up, you now have a 1-star chance to hit a triple whenever he's up to bat. And all it takes is your opponent picking the wrong thing. If you can get Yoshi and you also have Wario, you make Wario your captain, they're probably not going to catch the garlic ball. Depends on where it lands, but they have to guess. It's a 50-50, and if they guess wrong, it's a triple. So I think Wario is just better than PM for that reason. I know what you're thinking. Tyler, you put a 7th person in the borderline, man. That's supposed to only be 6. We're going to get to that. I'm going to move down Dixie Kong because I think that she's just honestly useless. It's rude. She deserves better. But she's got a bat that is useless, doesn't do anything. She is just worse Diddy Kong. She's a little bit better at pitching. I guess there could be a situation where you really need her as like a pitcher or a backup pitcher if you're worried. But at the end of the day, she is just like knockoff brand Diddy Kong. There's no reason to ever need Dixie Kong while Diddy Kong is still in play. So this is my temporary who's gonna be in what ranks. Let's now move them around where they belong. The Mario tier. Oop. Who's the worst character in the game? We have to decide it right now. I think it's Baby Luigi. Baby Luigi bobbles in the outfield. He's fast. His wall jump isn't. He's got wall jump, but at the end of the day, it's never really gonna rob anything. He's not gonna play him. There are people that do what the argument for characters like the babies and Toadette being good in the outfield because they have wall jump is like, okay, name me a time where I can't get my hands on one of Mario, Luigi, and Bowser Jr. You can't. Those times don't exist. There's never gonna be a game where your opponent has all 3 of those. And you know what? If there is, then you take Toadette. So what the heck are you guys doing? Especially when you can't hit. Baby Luigi's in last. Next is Pear Goomba. Terrible, terrible, terrible bat. He's got super jump, cool. He's too slow, so that super jump doesn't do anything. It's honestly where Pear Troopa would be if Pear Troopa didn't have a great bat. Pear Troopa can land singles like it's no one's business, as well as the star hit. But, you know, super jump in the outfield is kind of cool sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's not enough. And he doesn't have any of the good things Pear Goomba has going for him, and that's how much of a difference this can make. This much of a difference from just not having a good bat. Bats matter. Next up, I'm gonna go Toad. This might be very controversial. I'm aware you can rip dingers. I've done it before. I just think it's too hard and the juice is not worth the squeeze. Maybe if I ever take him to the chamber, like I can, like a whole season from now, I can see justifying him being in the non-meta, maybe even the bottom of the borderline meta, if he's a reliable home run hitter for you. But I am not Gil. Gil's the only one that I will give the pass of putting him no higher than the last borderline meta pick. But he just isn't that good. Andrew keeps picking him, and Andrew doesn't do anything with him. Like, it's not a character you want on your team. He doesn't do anything. He's next. Next, I'm gonna put. This is tough because we've been seeing that Koopa Troopa is kind of okay on the mound, and he can kind of hit balls with the right chemistry. We've been seeing that Baby Mario's got slap hit. Plus, like I said, he's like a backup wall jumper, and I've got a soft spot for Monty, and I can land with him. But I've got to take my soft spot out of the equation, I think, for this. Ball Dash is awesome. I wish someone else had an ability that wasn't Monty or Goomba. But Monty only, I can get on with him. I can. It's not the easiest thing in the world. I think I gotta put Monty fourth from the bottom. Then I'm gonna put Koopa Troopa. I think Baby Mario is a little better than getting on with Koopa Troopa. Like, you don't need chemistry, whereas Koopa Troopa, I think, does need chemistry. And yeah, Koopa Troopa can kind of pitch, but again, these characters that would be like your backup pitcher, they're like an emergency 9th pick. Like, oh my god, I drafted I went so focused on heavies, let my opponent get all the pitchers, and now I don't know what to do. That's when you take a Koopa Troopa. So that's where I'm gonna put him. Next, Baby Mario. He'll be rounding out the Mario tier for us, probably. He's got a good slap hit. That's all he's got. But the slap hit's really good. He gets on base pretty often, and I think just being able to get on base often is enough to make you the best Mario tier character. Moving into the non-meta tier. Toadette goes at the bottom. Sorry, Toadette lovers. I know there's a lot of you. Just be happy I didn't put her in the Mario tier. I can say without a doubt she's, I think, probably better than at least these 5 characters. We'll have the Baby Mario versus Toadette discussion in a second. But she just cannot hit, really. Yes, I know, every character can hit if you train with them. Congrats. If you dump all of your time into learning Toadette, you might be able to get on base with her. But you probably won't. She bobbles way too much. Her wall jump, while she's got a good hitbox, is just not worth losing. Like these 3, the Mario Brothers and Bowser Jr., are just better at doing that, and then on top of that, better at everything else. There's nothing like I just don't understand the love for Toadette. She's got sliding, she's got 2 abilities, the only captain without 2 abilities. Weird decision game, but cool, I get it. Sliding catch with a big hitbox is good. Wall jump with a big hitbox is good, but she bobbles way too much to rely on her in the outfield. And I'm only taking a character with a bad bat that won't do anything for me offensively if I know they're not going to make any mistakes for me in the outfield, and she just will. So bottom of the non-meta tier. We'll discuss this matchup in a second because they do kind of do the same stuff. Next, in the next 2, I will say, are going to be Goomba and Dixie. I gotta think about what the benefits of both of them are. These are 2 characters who do the same thing. They both kind of pitch. They both have, like, I think, DK synergy. And they both have terrible bats. But I think that Dixie might be a little bit worse because Clamber is not as good as Baldash. If he doesn't have chemistry with DK, maybe I should change this, but I'm not certain, and it's never going to affect me. But I think, again, I know it seems crazy that I put them in the borderline meta together, but at the end of the day, she ends up being our low non-meta. But that's just how it goes, man. She doesn't do anything that Diddy can't. It's another one of those situations like Toadette with the wall jumpers. When there is a character who is just leagues better than you and does everything you can do but better, why would I pick you before them? You need to at least do one thing better. This will be the Peach Daisy discussion we have in a little bit. So I think Goomba gets just over Dixie, but these are the next 2. Then I'm going to do Waluigi. Waluigi is not good. He's got super jump, he's got laser. Laser's a cool ability and so is super jump. But again, he's offensively useless and his pitching is not as good as it used to be and his star hit is terrible. I think he's got Chem with Iser, Bowser, Boo, or Madge, which is good. Like, those are good characters to have Chem with. But at the end of the day, I just think I don't think he's worth it. The laser, because you're gonna play him on first or third. You're not gonna play him in your infield, like your second shortstop. And having laser on first and third isn't terrible. It's not as good as having laser where laser matters. I think there's gonna be a Waluigi revolution. You're gonna see it on this tier list. When we do the tier list stats, I mean, I've gotten so many of them already, and people are putting Waluigi in their borderline meta. I think he's gonna move up from where he was last time, but I think it is undeserving. I don't think he does enough. Nick's been getting on base with him, and that's why Nick thinks it's good. People are watching Nick do it, like, but at the end of the day, it's just one of those things like, oh, look, someone did it. But like, a character being capable of something and being able to do that thing with them are two totally different stories. If it's not easy to do the thing with the character, then they're not good. Oh, dude, I hit a Pear Goomba. Gil hit a Pear Goomba dinger. Oh my God. He's not a good character just because someone can do a thing. It's a cost sum thing. This is where Waluigi goes. And you know what? I think I'm actually done moving the non-meta around. I think Shy Guy is next. Really good singles bat. Pretty good backup pitcher. Good first baseman for a Birdo on shortstop. Those are enough things to put someone in a high non-meta, like much like Bowser Jr. These two are, I almost want to make their own tier for them. These are situational borderline metas. These are, Bowser Jr. is a borderline meta for me if I'm Bowser Captain. Shy Guy is a borderline meta for me if I'm Birdo Captain. These characters are never borderline meta. So, and you know what? That's what takes them out of the bottom 10. These are the bottom 10. These are the 10 worst characters. But this is where they'll go. Plus, I mean, I don't use the Junior Killer Ball ever, but like it can get people on base. It's like kind of okay. All right. Before we move on to the borderline meta, we have to discuss the last spots. Toadette versus Baby Mario. They both have wall jump. They're both fast outfielders, Toadette being faster. They have wildly different chem trees. Toadette is better. Chem tree wise. Baby Mario's got a significantly better bat. Will get on way more than Toadette will. But Toadette also has sliding catch. These two are kind of hard to compare to each other, in my opinion, honestly, because they're so close yet they're so different. What do you prefer? Do you prefer offensive or defensive? I think this is a classic Bowser Yoshi situation. And as much as I hate Toadette, I hate her so much. I've said time and time again that I think I fall on the defensive side of this game, that preventing home runs and preventing base hits and preventing stuff is a little more important than getting it. But at the end of the day, you can get it with everyone, but you can't prevent it with everyone. So, as much as I would love to put Toadette in the Mario tier to make a smile appear on my face, I think Baby Mario is just slightly worse than Toadette. So I am gonna leave this the way it is. Borderline meta. My girl Peach, love her to bits. She is the worst person here, I think. We'll talk about it, but this is the thing, it's the same thing we talk about with the monkeys. Like, Daisy does what Peach does almost everywhere a little bit better. The difference is being Peach, in my opinion, is a way better pitcher than Daisy by like a margin of maybe 10-15%, which doesn't sound like a way better, but think of it like on a test. Would you rather get a 75 or a 90? That's what 15% of a difference can make. That's the only reason I justify a Peach pick over a Daisy pick, is that you really think you can lock them down with your pitching. I've done it before. I'm sure I'll do it again. That's what makes her a borderline pick for me. Her biggest competition for this last space, so I'm going to move them there because it doesn't matter, is Diddy Kong for me. These are two characters that will be, oh, okay, I'll pitch with them. They have glue hands, so if I have to move them into the outfield, they won't drop anything for me. Except Peach's second ability, Quick Throw, is way better than Diddy Kong's second ability of Clamber. However, Diddy Kong's star hit is way better than Peaches. I was gonna say a little better than Peaches because I was gonna be like, Peaches is always a sack fly, but you know what? I think just so is Diddy Kong's. The difference being that Peach can hit it to like center or right, and Diddy Kong will almost always be left. Maybe making Peaches a little bit easier to score a run with. But I think Diddy's just lands more. If it gets caught, you can still run in someone from third, but Diddy's will probably land sometimes, meaning it's a little bit better. When it lands, it'll probably only be a single, whereas when Peaches lands, it could be a double or a triple. They're very hard to compare. But also Diddy Kong's monkey team. I mean, he's got Kem with DK. That's really good. She's got Kem with Toadsworth. That's really good. But like, I think this is just fair. Next will be Luigi. Luigi is just, again, lesser Mario. He does what Mario does when you don't get Mario. He's great. I like him a lot. He's got a very reliable singles bat. Terrible star hit. That's where he goes. Your next two are going to be your secondary second baseman shortstop boys. With Wario taking the edge. I've said it many times. I think Wario's a little better than PM, but this is where they belong. Better offensively and better defensively, in my opinion. Objectively, without me sitting in the control, if you're talking to someone, PM might be a little bit better offensively, but Wario being objectively better defensively, as someone who, I've said it times again, prefers defensive characters, Wario gets the edge. And I know I said that it would be unlikely there would be a character in between these characters, but I actually think I'm going to move Luigi up one. Luigi has good, way better chemistry than PM does. PM only has Noki. Luigi has Daisy, Mario, some other people. He can make some good plays happen if you're playing him on first from the outfield. He's also a good relief pitcher, so he's got good defensive things to put a smile on my face, but he's also got good offensive things in his slap hit. And he can hit home runs. I've never done it, but people do it more than rarely. It happens a few times a season. So I actually think in a weird turn of events, Luigi is the perfect character to split the difference here of Wario and PM. Daisy is the top of my borderline meta because I think she is a great pitcher, an excellent pitcher, very reliable bat, and all around her, which there aren't a lot of in the games, but she is someone that I would not be devastated to have play any position except for like catcher. But like catcher's a weird position. But like you can, like, anywhere in the infield for her is good, first base being the exception. She still works in first base, but quick throw to first is huge. It gets a lot of outs the same way Laser gets outs to home. Sue me, I know Laser is cooler because it stops a run from getting in, but throwing someone out at first is just as important because then they don't even have the chance to go around. Plus, her, like I said, her bat's great. Her bunt is good. I've been bunting with her lately. It's kind of good. She has the potential to hit home runs, but nothing I would ever talk about. I did it once, so I wouldn't say it's worth discussing. But yeah, that diving catch she has is great. It's way better than Peach's second ability of. I love glue hands for the safety of like you're not gonna drop this. But her dives I've seen make some crazy plays lately. Daisy is an underrated character that I think deserves nothing more in the world than to move up. I might even put her in the low meta depending on who's the bottom of the low meta. We're going to discuss that. And finally, the flower ball. The people out there will say what they want about it, but guaranteed sack fly, and if it lands at the triple, it's so hard to argue against that. You got your Joeys, you got your Dennises, you got your Andrews who say you catch it every time. Dennis probably does. Joey probably does. Andrew, I've watched tell Dennis, oh, I'll pitch it down the middle if you want to use your Daisy ball, it's free. And then he won't catch it. And then Daisy will get a triple and run in 3 runs. It happens all the time. People underrate what the flower ball is capable of. It's just free. I think it's excellent. Top of the borderline meta, if not bottom of the low meta. Let's have the BJ versus Peach discussion. This one just feels easy. BJ is a Bowser team exclusive. Peach can really be on either team as a pitcher for me. someone that's limited to being on my team when only another character is on the team literally can't be borderline meta, in my opinion. Same goes for Shy Guy. These two characters, I cannot in all good faith bump them to borderline meta if it is required for them to have someone specific on the team for them to be good for. That's just how it is. The low meta. Noki is the worst person in the low meta. She is the worst of the 4-star hitters, who 2 of them are here sharing the space with. And you know, her singles bat normally isn't good enough to justify being higher than either of the other 2. Next is so let me move the big boys and the small boys, because I'm just gonna be straight. I think these are probably gonna be the top 3 of this. We'll discuss in a moment. So Parabones Mario. Para and Bones both have great hits without their star, amazing hits with their star. Defensively can play the outfield and first and third, and defensively can play the outfield and second and shortstop because of sliding catch. He's got a better arm than Dry Bones. Dry Bones is a better plain singles bat. They both have Bowser Chem. They're very similar. Comparing them is difficult. I think I like sliding catch more than super jump, because I think diving is just important in this game. It gets you way more range. Vertical super jump is good for outfield stuff sometimes, but not as important as sliding catch. So wherever these 2 end up, Bones is gonna nudge out Para. But Mario doesn't need the star to get on. He's got a great singles bat as well. The fireball is pretty good sometimes, and he is my go-to right fielder for that wall jump. He is the best character that you can get with wall jump, and wall jump is important. It is unlikely that your opponent is going to have a character that cannot hit a home run, and thus you need someone to be able to save it. And I think that is very, very important. Mario comes in at 13, 14 almost every season, but I think this will be the time that I give him a little more respect than he deserves. I love these guys, and star hitters go really fast. And I will probably even draft these guys before I would draft Mario sometimes. But I think Mario is more important for my style of a team comp than they are, because I need a wall jumper, and he is the best one that does that. I've said this in the video, the order for these 3 is PD, Bro, KB, because PD is, for me, the best home run hitter of the 3. And on top of that, he is just a better version of the Shy Guy at first thing with Birdo. But then he's also got Chem with DK, who's also good in the infield, and he's also got Chem with KB. So you could have a disgusting dream infield of KB at third, Birdo and DK at shortstop and second, and then PD at first, and everyone has Chem throws to first. It'll save you a lot of outs. Bro is simply a home run machine, doesn't do much more than that. KB, he's got that third base thing going for him, but recently it hasn't been doing well. Everyone's been kind of trending down on him as third base, and they've acknowledged that Madge is the superior third baseman. But still, he's got that dream comp. He can hit home runs, and he can hit slap hits. This guy hits home runs more, though. Way more home runs. Still home runs, and some slap hits. I could try and argue that Mario deserves the spot above KB, and I'm thinking about it personally. I am, because KB just lets me down so much. You hit fouls, you hit right to outs, you don't make the catches on third base. Mario doesn't really ever let me down, but I don't hold him to such high aspirations as I do King Boo. I expect King Boo to hit me home runs. I expect King Boo to hit good doubles. I expect King Boo to make sick plays at third. And more often than not, he doesn't meet the standards. Mario, I expect to hit a single. I expect to make a wall jump. He does them very often. He does those things very well. And the fireball, not the best star hit. Sometimes it's a double play. I would say even often it's a double play. as long as an infielder blocks it, it's almost always an out. It's hard to get through. When you do get through, it's a double. It's tough. It's a tough call. I'm doing it. I think Mario's a little better than KB. I think I value, again, you know, it's offensive versus defensive. He lets me down offensively and defensively. He never lets me down defensively. I'm doing it. Wild. Honestly, I think it's my hottest take for this whole tier list. I know the Wario PM thing, a lot of people are going to be all up in my jorts about. I know Peach being this high, people are going to be all up in my jorts about. I know Toadette being this low, people are going to be in my jorts about. But this is, people not even getting my jorts about this, but this just feels like the hardest decision I've had to make, KB versus Mario, because they can't really be compared. It's easy to compare KB to the other home run hitters, and it's easy to compare Mario to people with good hits. But comparing them to each other and acknowledging that the best of the slap hitters and wall jumpers, is it better than the worst of the home run hitters? I think it is. I think it is. Now here's a really hot take. Before we move on, I'm going to compare Daisy and Noki, and this is the first time I think I am going to do it. I'm going to move Daisy up and Noki down. For all the reasons I've said, I don't think I need to cover them again. Just, again, there are 3 other star hitters that do what Noki does, but better. Noki's only got 1 chem partner in PM, which isn't a good chem partner, really. Don't get me wrong, the line from, like, center fields to second base to laser to home is really nice sometimes, but I think when with these two riding as like a duo, they really only benefit from having each other. I don't want to have to play a game where it's like, if I take Noki, do I have to take PM? If I take PM, I feel like I have to take Noki. It's not so much this way as much as it is this way. But again, Noki does the one thing. She's honestly sometimes is pretty good on the infield. She's a good emergency second shortstop, but not as good as Bones is. She's a good center fielder, but not as good as Bones is, outside of maybe the argument that she might have chem to PM. But her hit just isn't as good as Bones. Her slap hit isn't as good as Daisy's slap hit. Her star hit is great. But if I can scoop up the 3 other star hitters, I don't need the 4th. So I'm going to argue that I think my personal best pitcher, my go-to pitcher, who has a pretty good star hit and a very reliable bat and can play any position in the field if I need her to, if she gets tired out, is more important to me than the 4th best star hitter. I know, I'm crazy. All right, the top 7, we've arrived. The worst of the top 7. This is hard. I think the worst of the top 7 is Madge. Madge is the best star hitter by far. Look, the other 3 are like within 4 of each other, and he's got a whole 5 gap ahead of them, making him a high meta pick. But at the end of the day, he's still just a star hitter. These other 6 can just do things no other characters can. I'll run through them real quick. The best pitcher in the game, who can also hit slappy, good, delightful singles and doubles. Bowser hits homers. Yoshi is the all-around best defensive character in the game. Toadsworth does what Madge does slightly better because he doesn't need a star to do it outside of the magical catch. There's the 3 characters that are really hard to compare here are Madge, Toadsworth, and Boo. Excuse me. So, and Birdo's got the big suck. DK's got that versatility. I love Madge. I'm happy to see him in the highest rank he can be. I think he deserves to be up here on the council. But he is the least valued member, in my opinion. Time for a big sip of water. So yeah, I think Madge is going to go 7. Then I'm going to go... I think I'm going to go Toadsworth 6, probably. We're going to circle back. He just ever so slightly edges out Madge for me because he's got chem with people I value, like the chem with Daisy and Peach. Like, that's something that specifically pertains to me. But objectively, It's so hard to strike this guy out. He gets on all the time. He swings through bad pitches, always makes contact with good pitches, has a star hit that can drive in up to 2-3 runs on a good one. He's got glue hands, making him a great center fielder. He's much faster than everyone gives him credit for. He's a good relief pitcher. He just kind of does everything. I've been saying I'm thinking Toadsworth for top 5 all season. So I think number 6 is about where he's not quite top 5, obviously. But I think that's about where he deserves to be. Now, this is something that I hadn't thought about doing until I just got here, but I'm really looking at it, and I think the next person I gotta do, I think I'm doing Birdo at 5. What? I know everyone. We've been talking for hours about it. Even just yesterday, I said, what does everyone think the objective top 4 is? And almost everybody was like, these 4 right here. But here, I'll do this now. But Boo has an incredible singles bat, way better than Birdo's. No contest. Is the objective best pitcher in the game, making him a high valued commodity in a draft. That's it. That's all he does. Birdo is really good defensively. Shortstop and second. Not the best pitcher in the game. And to put the Dennis argument down, having Birdo, so I'm going to put down Dennis's argument, but I don't think it's as negative as he says. The Birdo thing is that when you pick Birdo as your captain, your plan then becomes land the Birdo ball and win the game, which it's incredible. There's a character that you can put a plan like that into motion with, like I'm just gonna hit the Birdo ball and win. But the issue is when that becomes your plan, you make sure you have stars for Birdo, so then it doesn't make it that it takes away. Dennis says it takes away stars from other characters. Well, I mean, literally it does, I guess. But you just gotta draft smart. If you're taking Birdo, do not take more than 2 other star hitters. Make sure you do good star allotment. And you could get great success with Birdo. And I mean, like, we're not even gonna really talk about her defensive shortstop, second baseman prowess. She saves more hits than a lot of people do. But the thing that puts her just down for me is that you could build a whole team around her, and the game's RNG can screw you. Could also send you to the moon. But you might just have a terrible Birdo game, and a terrible Birdo game might literally just cost you everything you have, you know? And I know it's a little mean to be harping on her negatives, because if I'm doing the same argument but positively, she's probably here, right? But as a defensive player, I'm gonna look at those things that could hurt me more, and relying on her egg to always land and get me runs versus double plays in a playoff situation. Like if I'm playing against Dennis, I might have to do something like Burrows. I just don't know if I can outskill Dennis. But if I'm playing with someone on my level and I'm dumping all my stars into Birdo and they randomly are going to second and shortstop and I'm just getting screwed, it's gonna hurt me. Boo is just gonna slap a nice single and I'm gonna respect it. So I think I'm gonna put Boo just ahead of Birdo. It's a tight call though. It's one that I might literally regret tomorrow, but this is it. We can't come back from this till next season. DK is next for me. The man does everything. Hits home runs, great star hit, got Yoshi combo. You can just run Yoshi in. However, Yoshi's part of that combo, so you can't really make that as an argument to put him over Yoshi. Yeah, he hits home runs. Yoshi can't do that. Yoshi saves more balls, as in my opinion. You can play DK spot and then more. Love DK, third best character in the game for sure. Now, here's the controversial thing. I know some people in the club agree with me and most don't. I am putting Yoshi above Bowser. This was kind of what we've been foreshadowing the whole time with this defensive player talk, but I like how Yoshi negates so many things more than I like the amount of runs I get with Bowser. I'm not saying Bowser doesn't do what Bowser does. Bowser's insane. If we ever change the Nolan draft, Bowser's back on top. But right now, when we have a draft that's based around if you take Bowser, he has to be your captain, that means that every captain on my Bowser team is a little worse than they could have been. Whereas if Yoshi is a pick I take, I can then take someone like DK or Birdo, make them better than they are, and they run in Yoshi with their star because Yoshi just needs a star to land to get from first to home. That's enough for me, honestly. It was always close for these two. Because he was a good singles hitter, you know? It was easy to get on first and hope that a DK or a Birdo came in and fixed the problem. But then we discovered the Yoshi egg is no joke. It is almost a guaranteed single about 70% of the time, which is insane. Sometimes a double. Being able to walk up with your first batter of the game and be like, Yoshi egg for 1 star. Or 2 stars, whatever. Guarantee on base with Yoshi one way or the other, and then followed it up with, it's a 3-star gambit no matter how you do it. But you can trade 3 stars for an automatic run with DK, with Yoshi and DK. The only thing is, you don't need to use the star to do it with Yoshi. You could save the star, so maybe it makes the DK value a little better as far as the captain. It's a hard line to walk. It's not what we're doing here though. Regardless, all of these plans that involve having a great captain and running in Yoshi and need Yoshi. Yoshi is the key. So I think that makes Yoshi the best character in the game. And before we leave, quickly I'll compare PD to Madge. Defensive, I like Madge better, plus the offense is really great. PD, you're gonna slap me some sick dingers this playoff, and I'm gonna respect you for it. But I think this is what I want. This is my tier list. So run through it one last time. We've got Baby Luigi, Pear Goomba, Toad, Monty, Koopa Troopa, Baby Mario, Toadette, Dixie Kong, Goomba, Waluigi, Shy Guy, Bowser Jr., Peach, Diddy Kong, Pianta, Luigi, Wario, Noki, Daisy, Parabones, Dry Bones, King Boo, Mario, Bro, Petey, Madge, Toadsworth, Birdo, Boo, Donkey Kong, Bowser, Yoshi. Thank you guys so much. I know it's a little bit longer of a tier list for me. Oh, we're an hour. Oh my God. We talked a lot, I guess. It's an important tier list. Dinger City means a lot to me. Again, there's a link in the description. If you're my fan, you don't know about Dinger City, please consider going into the comments, or in the description, clicking that link to Dinger City and subscribing. We have a lot of fun over there playing this game. Yeah, I mean, what more can you say? I poured my heart out here this season, and this is only for one season's tier list. So we're gonna be doing this again probably in 6 months. But yeah, there we go. There it is. I know this video might get a lot more views than a normal tier list because people from the Mario Superstar Baseball channel are probably going to be coming over. I'm sorry, from Dinger City. We just changed the name. It's going to take a little bit to get used to. But people are going to be coming from that channel over here to see my thoughts. I hope I expressed them verbally well enough. I hope if you don't agree, you at least I made it clear why I value everything I value, and I have no issue with you going in the comments and talking about what you think. Don't be mean, please. Don't be like, Tyler, you're a stupid idiot for liking Peach so much. But you can be like, hey man, I don't value Peach's pitching as much as you do, or the fact that her star hits an automatic sac fly. And I'll be like, cool man, I get it. We can be civil. But please, like, comment, subscribe. I had a blast making this one. I'm looking forward to getting all my friends and making the super tier list. And you know what? When that super tier list is done for the Dinger City channel, I'll drop a link in the description as well as send you to what everyone thinks. But this is going to be done a few months before then, so you'll have to hold out for that one. But as always, I've been Wonder Bear, you've been you. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.